thank goodness my shield was down. Like, y'all didn't see the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff came down far before I raised that shield. I was a wreck. That the entire last lap and then cool down lap was just, I was a mess. And so when I finally pulled myself together is when I raised my shield. So yeah, it's just I don't know, sometimes it just it hits you.
The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media.
Hey guys, welcome to Actions Detrimental post Las Vegas, the first race of the round of 8. And we come home with a dub. We don't have the trophy. That's going to be a logistics nightmare.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. We are, how late are we? 10 hours late? No.
I mean, we would have taken 10
late.
a.m., so like 8 hours maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's okay for this.
I just got home. Just literally got home. So, yeah, we decided to stay in Vegas. Nice dub for the 11 team. Win 60 for me. What a weekend. I gotta think that might have been the best 48 hours I've had in quite some time.
Really?
If not ever. Yeah. You can't include like children being born.
Career
things. Like
things.
Yeah. Oh, career things that 48 hours was just the best. And the reason it was the best was that we got the pole on Saturday. Well, hold on. Let me go back.
Best 72 hours?
Yeah. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
If you saw my Instagram story, I mean, I was literally a Bill Dance out there catching all these fish. Don't shake your head. Don't you do it.
I don't want to rain on your parade here, but you guys were fishing in like a fish tank or something.
It wasn't a
It was
fish.
like those African safaris where like the elephants right there for you to shoot and the line's right there. Like, I'm swear someone was just putting fish on the line, letting you reel it in.
It was Celine Dion's own stock pond.
It was. Her house was right overlooking it. It was a decent sized pond. It wasn't like, I don't know, it was probably a couple acre pond, but it had a lot of fish in it, and they were hungry. I mean, but it wasn't like totally easy.
No.
I mean, Charlie went blank for the first hour. He didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
And I was catching fish left and right, and, I had a little hiccup at the very beginning. The first fish snapped the rod tip when I pulled him out. And then, this is going to make me sound so dumb. I was trying to get the fish over there to show them how big this fish was. This is a big fish. You snap the rod tip. And I grabbed the scale and I hook it on his lip. If you've ever seen a fish scale, it hooks right on his lip and you kind of just hold it. It's a handle and it's got a scale. It shows it to you. Well, I'm like, man, I'm on the clock here. This fish has been out of the water for a minute. And I'm like, I need to get him back in his environment. Let him breathe here for a minute. The thing gave one good shake, and he left with my scale in his mouth. I know.
Weren't you holding onto the scale?
I was, but I'm telling you, he gave it one good shake, and I lost the fish, and that the fish still has that scale hooked to his mouth. And this thing is like red, and he was jumping for the next couple hours, like out of the water. I could see him like he's in distress.
Jesus.
We should have tried to re-catch him, but I don't know that he was going to bite. I think they say like once you catch a fish, you won't re-bite, for like 48 hours or something like that, or 24 hours. But man, I hate to weigh that fish down, but he's got my scale in his mouth. That arguably I think was the biggest fish, and I didn't even get a picture of that one.
Well, in
Jared did.
Yeah, there's a video of it.
every fish picture, I think the fish was closer to the lens than that last one.
No, I did not play photo tricks.
I did.
I mean, there was one that was a video where you drive up in the cart. Like, there's no
That one
ultra
was
in that
big.
one.
That was, in my opinion, that was the biggest one. That was
Yeah.
bigger than the first one.
Yeah. Well, so that was fun. So I caught anywhere between 9 and 10 bass. I don't know. We did lose count. Charlie got hot late. It was quite fun because they just were active. And I told Riley, I went out to his place and I was like, I've been training for this moment. For 6 months, I have failed at, catching fish at the rate that I expect to. And it's challenged me to really get better in my fishing game. But I go now to a place that actually has fish and they can't escape in a 550 miles of shoreline like they do at Lake Norman. And oh man, I'm telling you, I was Bill Dance out there.
If there's a fish in a bucket, Danny's going to catch it.
Yeah. So that was a good Friday. Saturday, you get the pole. Sunday, we get the win. It just was a fantastic weekend in all aspects.
But you told Marty Snyder that on Saturday you didn't think you're going to win, but you're on the pole.
I don't know that I said I didn't think I'd win. I didn't like our chances. It wasn't like Kansas where I know exactly what I have to have out of my car. I know the feel I need, and I'll know whether we even have it in practice or not is irrelevant. I know we can get there on Sunday. And Vegas is just one of those tracks where I think it's my 1 week big racetrack. All the 2 mile stuff feel really, really good about. All the mile and a half, good. I got a great feel for them. I know what I need at every track. Vegas it's just kind of one where I just don't feel great at that track. And I think a lot of it is, the bumps in 1 and 2 force you to have to do things with your setup that you don't have to do on other mile and a halves because it is bumpy and you can't run your car, quite as low to the ground. So there's some compromises to be had there. And yeah, the last 10 laps, I found out what that winning formula was. And now when I go back, hopefully that means that I'm going to be searching for whatever that was.
How do you just miraculously find it in the final 10 laps? Are you getting hotter throughout the day, or are you just a switch flipped and there it was?
I know this sounds really elementary, but I pushed the gas down harder.
That can't be.
Listen, we got the car better. The first stage, we were not very good. I was hanging on. And, we got a good stage finish because we got a good restart at the end of the first stage. And then, we just kept working on it. And that's what, really like about Chris Gales. He's not afraid to, put wrenches in the car if he's got to. If the pit stop time suffers by half a second or a second, he doesn't care. He wants to give me what I need out of the car. And so we made it better and better as the day went on. And what I was telling you is true, that I did just I pushed it harder at the end of the race. I ran a few corners and it was interesting when I watched it back and when I tried to do my media and stuff after the race, I didn't really have an explanation of, what happened, what'd you do, because I didn't.
You said you blacked
so
out.
quickly. It happened quickly, and I just I needed to process it because I didn't think. I just was like, I'm going here, I'm going there. I didn't psychoanalyze really anything, any of the corners. I just went as hard as I possibly could. And, it was just a chess game out there. You're always trying to just guess where's the car in front of you going to go. And you're trying to guess right. And when you guess right, like I did when I was catching Larson and Briscoe, it makes, when you have a car as fast as mine was, it makes it look like you're running nitro speed.
It looked like you had a star in Mario Kart.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, especially versus Larson. The corner speed that I had versus Larson was a big, big difference. And so You know, I think Kyle mentioned it in his interview afterwards that, like, yeah, I ran the top with about 5 to go because I thought I was far enough ahead of him entering turn 3 that, you know, he might get down there, but like I'm going to clear him on the exit. And I just made up so much time running the bottom that I was able to get beside him, you know, go into turn 1, drive in hard, clear him. And at that point, as I'm clearing Larson and kind of blowing the corner, I still gained on Chase. Like I could see that, like, man, I'm just way faster than he is. And so I think it was a half a lap later I went around him.
So you weren't worried at all because I feel like you made a first attempt at passing Kyle. And he,
couple of them.
And he shut you off. And watching the race, I thought, man, these guys are going to go back and forth with each other trying to pass each other for a second. They're just going to let Briscoe get out far enough that he's going to win this on 2 tires.
Yeah, I was surprised, truthfully, that Larson couldn't challenge Briscoe more. But again, you're talking to a guy that had that Mario Kart super speed at the end. So, you know, he's pushing it all he can. You know, he's clearly faster than Briscoe, but Briscoe was able to maneuver and, like, you know, aero block just enough to kind of keep him at bay. And then I come into the picture, so Kyle then has to alter into more of a defensive line instead of an offensive line. You know, and I'm certain if I wasn't there, Kyle would have gotten. I think he would have gotten around him because he wouldn't. Kyle would have then just been on straight offense, and that is countering whatever line Briscoe entered the corner. He moved all around. Well, he couldn't do that when I was catching him, and then he's like, "Well, I don't want to lose second," you know. And so he's having to just be a little bit more defensive instead of offensive. So it was a fun chess match, I'll be honest with you. And even with 10 laps to go, I think I was probably 5th or something like that. Like, I had a good restart right away, but then I lost a position or two. And then there was I thought the defining moment was when I shot the middle
Oh, jeez, that was a move.
Of Bowman and Reddick, and was able to clear Reddick just enough to where when I actually I shot the middle of him, got beside the 48, cleared the 45, and then when we come off the corner, since I'm clear of the 45, now I got him pushing me down the straightaway past the 48. So it worked out really quickly. That one corner where I got 2 cars, I thought that was the moment.
Early on in that restart, every time you made a move, and Latardian said it, you made a move, and it just seemed like Bowman or someone was there. Was there any moment where you're like, damn it, like I needed to get a couple spots early, or are you just not even thinking? You're just, like, what was your thought process there when you're trying to make moves and a couple weren't working?
Well, we're always out there trying to get the cleanest air possible, but when you're in 5th or 6th, there really aren't any clean lanes. Like, you usually got cars staggered because everyone's just trying to get out of the wake. And so that's why I think the key moment was for me when I shot the middle, is that there was nobody in that middle lane really kind of at the time. And so it just was a guess right situation. I'm telling you, it was fun, really, the whole race, the top 4 or 5. Other than, you know, in stage 3, when we had that green flag stop, it did get strung out a little bit. But, I mean, we were all just kind of in a bunch at the end of these stages. And it was fun because there was a lot of cars that was very equal, and everyone's out there just trying to predict. And guys out front are trying to play defense, and no one's getting away. So it's a fun race.
Did you think that race was winnable with 15 to go?
Mm-mm. Well, that's not true. When I got clear of that wreck and went from starting 9th, the wreck happened. Now I'm 6th on the outside, and now I'm behind a 4-tire car. I thought the key moment was Brad. There's a lot of key moments. Brad was on 2. I didn't want to start in the same lane as him because I thought that, you know, I was going to have to go 3 wide on him to get around him. That likely breaks my momentum. I'm likely to get freight trained one way or another. When he chose the lane he chose, it now put me 6th on the outside. I'm behind Larson. He's behind 2 tires. I got Brad on the inside of Larson with 2 tires, and it's like, okay, now me and him are going to be the only guys on offense here. Like, we should be rolling. And I was really surprised that Larson didn't get a better restart. We took off there. I gave him a push. I was pretty close. I really wasn't on his bumper much. He actually was off the 22 way more than I thought.
Both one first and second, I feel like had a gap.
Yeah. And at that point, I was able to get to the outside of him. Now, I didn't end up gaining any positions from that, but it just, that allowed me to kind of feel my car out in some clean air and realize that this thing had superpowers.
Back to Jared's question, though, about did you think you could win? The restart before that was with 24 to go, and you're watching the laps count down on yellow.
We ran forever under yellow. And it's not like for no reason. The track was a mess. But usually if it gets down at the end of the race and the track is that destroyed with all the debris, and it had so much debris all over it, running 12, 15 laps or something on the caution, that's way too much. Just red flag the thing.
Especially when you had, like, for the fans, once we go back green, you have this different strategy, right, of 2 tires and 4 tires. And the more laps you run down under caution lessens the excitement that maybe we were going to see from that tire differential.
Yeah, it gives a lifeline to the 2 tire guys for sure. It's you're keeping your spot and laps are clicking off. But it's it just seemed like too long of a caution. I mean, we were going to be not racing no matter what because it was going to take a certain amount of time to clean it up. But yeah, certainly would have liked to have seen a red there. It made me panic a little bit that I'm hoping just to get back at the top 5.
You had a couple moments on the radio where I thought you were unusually animated, and that was one of them. You doubted yourself as a driver.
Yeah, it just because at that track, I feel like my lap time variation is high. Like whatever the optimum lap that my car is capable of running, I can hit it like 1 out of every 4 laps, maybe 3 laps. And then the other 2 are a tenth or 2 off of what it should be. And that's just my inconsistencies of driving at that track.
So was the car great all day and you just weren't driving it to its fullest capabilities? No.
No, it got better with adjustments.
Okay.
And then I think the track came to us. And then, certainly at the end, I thought when it went full shade, like in 1 and 2, all that, the track came to us.
Okay. Doubt. Yeah, because watching the race, it felt like you were a 5th to 6th place car all day until the last 15 laps.
Yep.
But 60 wins. You've reached your goal.
Reached the goal. Now what?
70?
No. Can win the championship. That's the goal.
That's the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. We're going to have a great shot at it. It's things are hard to predict. It's one race. Just when do the cautions fall? When does, what about all the other stuff? But I'm looking forward to it. I feel like, I definitely can get better at Phoenix. I'm certainly going to spend the time to try to work on getting better there. I've got some extra time now to work on it. I haven't had that.
Ever?
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever been.
No, since I've been around you, I feel like you're locking yourself into Phoenix.
After Martinsville.
Yeah. Either on points or you won that Phoenix race a handful of years ago.
Yep.
How much time can you, obviously you're not probably sure because you haven't done it, but how much time do you think you can get that the other drivers can't?
I really think that it is probably an extra week. It's not 2 as advertised. No one's running the sim and working on their Talladega setups right now. I think that everyone in the top 8 is working on Phoenix this week. Because there's just, Talladega is, you're running the same setup you ran for the last 3 years at that racetrack. from a driver, it's all circumstantial. It's not like you're learning different lines and stuff. So I think this week people were probably working on Phoenix, all cars. And so the advantage then goes to Martinsville week, where that time I stay on Phoenix and then the field goes to Martinsville and works on that.
Well, the last 5 of the 9 championship races, the champion has been the driver who won the first race of the round of 8. So clearly there's something to that, because that's noteworthy,
think that,
right? 5 of 9?
It's noteworthy. I think it's noteworthy. It's not something that it's just, oh, well, that's just...
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. More than... Is it Penske responsible for most of those? You know what I mean? So...
but I think it's you getting some sim time, but it's Gale. So it's like this cumulative effect that the 11 team can gain. You can gain a little bit. He can do a little. So then it comes together and could potentially be, a perfect race.
Maybe. I can tell you I couldn't do any sim today.
Speaking of sim, how much time did you do for Phoenix? Or not Phoenix, for Vegas? They were talking about how much sim you did last week.
I mean, I didn't think it was that much more than normal, but we certainly went later. Usually Mondays I'm kind of just doing some stuff. But yeah, I found myself on Monday after the race last week at the race shop at 7:30 at night, just running. And I don't know, I just time gets away from you when you're working, and so I just was kind of locked in and gave the team a direction. My primary job during the week is lean on my experience at the racetracks, looking for that feel, that magic feel that has worked in the past. And at Vegas, I mean, that's a lot of the reason I think I was there till 7:30 on Monday, was that I was just scratching my head. And Chris Gabehart was kind of sitting in the room watching the session going on, and I'm just getting frustrated because I'm like, man, even in the sim, I wasn't consistent. I just couldn't. Everything was just on such a razor's edge, and so then there's some reflection going on, because now I'm starting to doubt, like, am I sending the team down the right path or not? Now, the good news is, because of our great performance at the end of the race and the car as good as it was, I now know what I need to feel in my car, and when I go and prepare for Las Vegas the next time around, I go into the sim, I'm going to search for that feel. I'm going to drive it the same way, and I'm going to search for that feel. And so Vegas is just a track where, I've been a solid 3rd to 5th place guy for the last few years, like speed wise. But nowhere near the speed of like the 5 or others have had. And so I'm kind of doubting that. We run long, and then I just kind of have a come to Jesus with myself and say, all right, for better or for worse, team, this is what I believe I need. Here's the path I want you to go down. Go to work. And they hit it.
Do you ever leave the sim feeling inconsistent, but then like when you get to the track, you just miraculously find it?
Sometimes the simulator cannot replicate, the feel, right? You don't have the G-forces, you can't feel all the bumps. Like it is very different. But I have, just run so many laps now that I know what the offset is between the two. And so it's just a useful tool for me. But I also think that, my experience really, really, really helps. Just simply because I feel confident at most tracks knowing the path that I need to send the team down.
So you've been in this Phoenix race, this championship race, a handful of times in the next gen era. Yeah, you have.
Never.
Yeah, the Chase Elliott year that Chase won.
That was Gen 6.
So never in the next gen era.
Nope.
Okay, well then I guess I got a different question, because I was going to ask you, like, what are you going to look for in the sim that's going to get you to a place of comfort going into Phoenix? Like, how are you going to know that you have that?
Yeah, so it's a good question, because I feel as though Phoenix is my Vegas for short tracks.
Well, that's not a good sign if we're listening to this, right, as fans.
I hear you. I've run well. I mean, I'm one corner. I'm leading down the backstretch on the white flag lap this spring.
Right.
But I haven't had a dominant performance since 2019 at that track. I've had dominant performances there, but it's been the old configuration or the old car, never with this car at this track. I feel like I'm a fringe guy. I am that third to sixth place, and I've clearly got teammates that know how to go fast there, and so I'll be certainly leaning on that. But this gives me more time to really dig into what I'm missing at that racetrack, because I'm certain that most of it is me, because I'm not as confident in telling the team what to do, what direction to head down. Am I too tight or am I too loose? Like, it just sometimes when you're neutral, there's one path or the other that could make a little bit more speed, and sometimes you just kind of never know what that is. And Phoenix, I got some work to do. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it tomorrow either. But I'm going to start soon.
I want to backtrack. Sorry, listeners. I feel like we're ping ponging all over the place, but that's fine. Before the race, Gluck said after the driver's meeting, you went back to your bus, said you needed to check something. If you can share what it was, what did you? Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's anything that is super secretive. It's things that probably most drivers all look at, but it was it's just something that I have a mental checklist in my head that before I leave the bus, I make sure I go down the list of here's what I think is important at this racetrack. Let me double check those important things to make sure I'm prepared for them. And during the driver's meeting, I just was like, okay, thinking about my checklist, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't go over that. I need to recheck that. And so I'm then in a frantic, hurry up, let's get this meeting over with. Like, I got to get out of here. And so I get out of the seat, I go to Tyler, I'm like, I got to go back to the bus, like right now. Like, how much time have we got? And I had about 10 minutes to go over some stuff, and I felt very confident when I left there that like I had the answers that I needed, and some of it played a factor in those last few laps.
Fascinated by that, because I don't feel like that's happened recently. I'm around you 99% of race weekends, and not once do I recall you leaving a driver's meeting to go back to the motorhome before the driver intros.
I never have. No. But I just knew that like my anxiety level would be really, really high if I was on pit road and got in that car and I was like, didn't have the answer and I was just going to have to wing it. Like that would send me into a panic. My mind would be crazy the whole race, like praying that situation doesn't come up. That way, I wasn't prepared for that moment.
But because you went back, you
Yes.
were prepared for whatever that
Yes.
moment was in the closing laps.
Yes.
And that led to 60.
It could have. It very well could have. Yeah, it's small details in this thing. It really is. It's just that the cars are all so close, and the drivers drive very similar nowadays, and it's hard to get an advantage.
Briscoe commented that there's few drivers, if any, that he's seen that work harder, especially at your age. They're still doing this craft at the highest level. Do you think that is a little bit of evidence to that? Like that little detail that you had to go back and check on?
I think I'm just psycho in that kind of way. You know, I don't expect everyone to have, the drive or, the want as bad as I do. I can't imagine someone being more competitive than me that's on that racetrack. I'm sure everyone's very competitive, but you know that I'm competitive in everything I do, like to the fullest. And when it comes to my career, it's, I'm even more psycho than I am on with other things. So it's different. I know I'm a little different in that that kind of way, but I also feel very fulfilled when I have, when it happens, right? Because
Right.
I'm like, I know that my work paid off. Like I have proof of it. I have a trophy that is going to always remind me that it pays off.
Was there a moment in winning 60 and everything that went on post-race, maybe like an emotional moment or something that you weren't expecting to hit you, or maybe like a revelation or something? Like, I don't know, watching the celebrations, I thought it was cool that every former crew chief that you had worked with, like, had a moment with you to come up and shared something that was at the track.
Yeah, and I owe so much to those crew chiefs. I mean, they, all of them played a vital role. And if they weren't in victory lane because they weren't there in person, I got a text from them, and it was like, I'm so grateful for each one of them's character and ability to challenge me to get better. And they all made me, every single one of them made me better in a certain different type of way. And so I grew with my relationship with all of them. It certainly teaches you a lot of things. And I mean, we said before this year started, right? There's so many unknowns. We're going to the Bowman Gray with no sponsor on the car for most of the season. Got nothing. I got a new crew chief that, I know nothing about that. They're like, here's your guy. And I'm like, okay, well, what happened? How'd this happen? We got no sponsor. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is this year going to be like? And I still felt like, Bowman Gray was a great step. I think that was key for us this year, is starting off being good, being fast. Like, we never struggled this year, right? It started fast right from the get-go. And I made, Gale very, I tried to empower him as much as I possibly could, affirm him as much as I could that he's the leader. I'll do whatever you tell me, regardless of your resume versus mine. You know what's best. That you're in that position for a reason. I learned when I was out of the race car in 2013 with a broken back, the team knows way more than the driver that's sitting in that driver's seat. Trust them. And I just kind of hand over the keys to whoever my leader is. And I've got a new leader here, and I've got to do the same thing and give him the keys. And he's taken them and certainly put his touches on this race team. And we've had more success than I thought we were going to have, truthfully.
Yeah, it's miraculous that, I feel like there's practice days or even like pre-qualifying where you just don't feel like you're the best. I asked you after practice on Saturdays, like, so are you good? I used that word good because you said if you're good, then, you're great. And you were like, we got some work to do.
Yeah. We were 2 to 3 tenths off. That's conservatively after 20 to 25 laps on tires. I mean, I was a straightaway ahead of the 20 when we started practice. He passed me, put a straightaway on me. This is in 25, 30 laps. Passed me, put a straightaway on me. Briscoe passed me. Gibbs passed me. I was in the way. I mean, I came in for an adjustment mid-practice, and I never cut. Once I go out, I'm going out, and I'm going to go ahead and get the long run. But I just hated it, and came in and got an adjustment, and yeah, I wasn't that confident. Yeah, I just was like, yeah, we got some short run speed, but this thing goes away really, really quickly, and it's just my confidence doesn't waver. It's like I just don't. How we are in practice just does not even matter anymore, and that's an awesome feeling to have.
Because you're confident in your team and fixing whatever it is
they're going to fix it. Yep, I'm going to tell them what I need, and they're going to fix it, and I have no doubts.
Now that you've had 24 hours, what's 60 mean to you?
I mean, I just never thought. Like when on NASCAR's social post, and it was like win 1, and then the ticker went till it was like win 27. Like the 2016 Daytona 500 was win 27. How have we won so many races in the last 9 years? Like that's a lot. We're now at 60. In 2016 Daytona 500 was win 27. I mean, we've gotten hot lately, and it's just they rack up quickly. It's crazy because as a driver, and we expect to win so much that I feel like, gosh, if we go 4 or 5 weeks without winning, it feels like a freaking eternity. But it's hard to win, and if you can average 3.5, 4 wins a year, they just tally up really, really quickly. And for me personally, what does it mean? It's like I still feel like when I look at the names on the list that I'm now a part of for the top 10, I feel like my name does stick out as not one of the greats of the sport. I see the names. I'm like, oh, these are the legends of the sport. These are the people that grew the sport. We're just the best of the best. And then, lots of them are guys that I raced against in my era. And so I knew how good they were. It's just very gratifying that I was able to still race at a high level this long into my career. Like year 20 is just as strong as year 1 or year 5, when you're kind of at your peak. So that's what's gratifying, is that just how long we've been able to be successful at it. And, I say all the time, like the light switch is going to go off eventually. Like we just never know when it's your last one. And maybe this is the last one. We just never know. But man, I don't feel it. After that last 10 laps, my confidence is really, really high that it ain't going away anytime soon.
You're usually very stoic. You don't show too much emotion, but it got to you when you won. What was that?
It's just been such a build up, I think, around the number. It was, obviously, some home stuff going on, and really happy that my dad is able to see 60. Because him and my mom just had so much sacrifice that they endured to keep me going, to keep their son's dreams alive like this. They just were so selfless. And you could argue reckless, in keeping this thing alive. But it's just like working and getting a trophy like that. That's what makes you really proud is that, that this all paid off. It all paid off in the end.
Did it make it any sweeter that it felt as if the fans also appreciated it?
Yes. Yes.
Like you went from being the most booed driver in driver intros yesterday to the most celebrated at the end. When you were driving your car through that, up to victory lane, right? There's fans on both sides of the barrier. It just felt like a big moment that they all appreciated.
I mean, I truthfully was really surprised not to hear boos from the crowd after the race. Like usually it's just a given. I'm going to get, usually the fans in general after the race, you're going to get, even if they're not fans of you, people always just get cheers because it's the end and, it's the winner. But all of my post-race interviews when I get out of the car at the start-finish line, it is, it's 50-50, I think. I'm sure there were some boos, but I didn't hear them. I just didn't hear them at all. I thought it was all really positive, and it truthfully was before I said anything. So I don't think I influenced it in that kind of way. It makes me very humbled and very appreciative of the fans to do that, because it certainly meant a lot for me personally. That was a big accomplishment for myself, a life accomplishment, a life goal in this sport, in my profession. And for them to kind of give me that moment, I really appreciated that.
I think that's more of a testament to NASCAR fans. Like if a football team, if your team loses, you're not going to applaud the other team because they had a great performance or achievement. NASCAR fans saw 60 wins, what it means. And so they kind of, let me drop my hatred or dislike for you for a moment here and appreciate the magnitude of what you achieved.
Yeah.
But also, the fans in the stands don't get to see what was on the broadcast, you tearing up in your car on that cool down lap. Like people watching on TV, they're all privy to that. But the fans in the stands don't see that. So it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know how you're feeling in the moment until you get out of it. And I felt like they had already felt good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched, and like, thank goodness my shield was down. Like, y'all didn't see the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff came down far before I raised that shield. I was a wreck. That the entire last lap and then cool down lap was just, I was a mess. And so when I finally pulled myself together is when I raised my shield. So it's just I don't know, sometimes it just it hits you.
What was that conversation like when you talked to your dad?
I mean, he's just so proud of me. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't want to come off super soft, and that's not me. But it's great because he always sends me messages and stuff after the race, and sometimes we have phone calls that talk about it, and he's always got questions. But either way, it's like, he's always like, "You're the best. You're the best." He's my number one hype man when it comes to confidence, and so, he just always says how proud he is, and certainly, I'm so happy that he was able to see all those wins.
What did your mom say when you got home here today?
She's just super excited, really, really excited. I came home, the kids had some confetti poppers ready to go, and my mom was videotaping it and whatnot. So she just came, give me a big hug. Just that's kind of what my mom does.
Just two other moments I guess we can move to in this race. Travis, I can start with the first one. Blaney has a tire failure, goes into the wall, DNF at Las Vegas in this first round. Yeah,
it's so deflating. I'm sure for him, because like those are the things as a driver you don't control that. That's not Ryan Blaney's fault. Now I'm not saying it's a person's fault. As a driver, you so wish you could be the one to dictate your outcome. And I just you feel for him that, he's thinking, I don't know how good Ryan was going to be. I don't think he was going to be super strong. Based off of what I saw on Saturday, I didn't see anything on Sunday that told me he was, but you never know. But it ain't last place,
Right?
You know what I mean? And so, what is he minus 31? I mean, he just finishes somewhere around the top 10, and he's 5 out, something like that. Like, it's crushing. And yes, they're now going to a track where typically your two bottom guys, Logano and Blaney, score the most stage points of pretty much anyone. I think maybe Austin Cindric's usually in that conversation as well for most stage points on road course or on super speedways. But I don't think this is still must win. I know I say that all the time.
I believe you on this one.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
I don't think 24 and 31 with 2 races to go, especially one being a super speedway.
The guys that are above the cut could easily
No
wreck.
question. Same thing. Yeah. So I don't think this thing's over. I think Byron minus 15, Elliott 23, Logano 24, Blaney. Does the top that top 4 right now ain't set?
Let me ask.
I don't know who's going where, but that top 4 is not set. There's someone moving in that group.
Where would you want to leave Talladega going to Martinsville and feel like, okay, I'm comfortable. I don't have to just swing for
Me
the
or
fence.
someone else?
If you were
Name the driver.
let's just start with Blaney. He's last. Where do you think he would like to be? A realistic, outside of win, obviously.
15.
Where would he be comfortable going into Martinsville?
Yeah.
0. I think he feels good enough on his Martinsville history that he can outpoint or outrun anyone at Martinsville.
Okay, but give another number, and there has to be a minus in front of it.
What about Logano?
Oh, that he feels like I'm going to go there and get that?
Yeah.
Minus 10, 15. I think, he's good enough to win both stages when, and finish top 2 if he doesn't win the race. Like, Blaney is, arguably the strongest of the entire top 8 at Martinsville, just over the last few years. Logano, I'm not sure. I'm just not even sure with this team. They made something happen again. They got to finish better than certainly they were running. But just not the speed. It's just head scratching. They got a few races where they're lights out quick. They were pretty good at Gateway. They were very good at Loudon. And then they just have stinkers where they're like the 15th to 20th place car. I don't know. I don't get it. But they got a lot of heart and they got a lot of fight in them, and you're just not going to shake them. So they're going to be able to capitalize when others make mistakes.
Speaking of not controlling your fate, William Byron.
Wow. What's our feeling? I mean, I know what I saw as a driver, but do y'all think this is a communication problem? Do you think that it was a William wasn't paying attention problem? Do you think it was a Ty Dillon was not where he was supposed to be problem?
I think it's 50-50. Like, Ty maybe should have done some things, but also, correct me if I'm wrong, like, the driver, you should be looking at what's ahead. Like, I'm a new fan, so, like, I don't want to put it all on Ty.
So can you change your lane?
I think Ty was not in the I'm pitting lane. From what I saw, yes, you want to stay on the banking as long as you can coming to pit road, but he's up. He is up higher. And so what that does, unfortunately for like William Byron, so you don't know that William Byron's looking at the left side door. Even if Ty Dillon waved him off, I have no idea whether he did or didn't.
I don't think he did from anything I've seen.
He might not be looking right at your back bumper or side of your car at that moment. But you usually can tell cars that are slowing down because they're really, really low on the line. And Ty, was just running. As he was braking, he was getting higher on the racetrack. And as a driver, you usually are going the other way. When you start to brake, you're usually trying to get lower. A lot of it because especially if you have cars within shouting distance, my spotter always tells me, wave blank off, he's 5 back. Even if I make sure if he doesn't see my hand, he sees it through the line, my actions. And that is, I'm really, really low because I don't want to get wiped out. I sacrifice a little bit of pit entry speed to make sure I don't get wiped out, if that makes any sense.
So,
and Ty, I don't think was running well enough to really be caring about maximizing his entry speed and running halfway up the racetrack.
Yeah, it seemed like he was ready to have his day over with. I'm
He-
not saying he did
didn't
that on-
seem like he had a good day, but I just thought he was a little too high. Not that's what I thought he certainly could have done better. And then on the roof, it's up. There's got to be some communication up there.
Well, hold on here. I just texted you guys a link to a tweet that was put out an hour ago of Shane SVG's in-car camera and him and Michael McDowell almost having the exact same incident.
I almost did with the 20.
So how is that any different than what happened?
Well, here's how it's a little different. The spotters, like say me and Christopher Bell or me and someone else that I'm racing, they don't want to tell you, hey, we're pitting. Because then it's like, oh, well, I'm going to chase you down. I'm going to pit with you. We're all trying to fake each other out when we're coming to pit road. We're trying to surprise the people we're racing around. I think if Ty knew he was going to be pitting, then his spotter needed to be looking around and saying, okay, who's around us? All right, I need to walk over give the 24 the hand over here saying, hey, we're about to pit. Should have given, and maybe he did. I am speculating because I don't know, but I don't think that happens if obviously that gets communicated to William that the 10 is pitting.
And the 24 team, I think, thought that the pitting was kind of done.
Yeah, because he went late in his cycle, so that I think that caught him. It was kind of a perfect storm of a lot of things.
It's a great storm. He's okay. I can say it.
He's minus 15. Yeah, it's his.
That's not about
playoffs
him.
are not over.
I don't think you were winning though without that caution.
it's not good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. It was a perfect storm for the 11
for
team.
us. Yep.
How nervous were you with that wreck with 24 to go?
Very. I was behind Ty, and I give him a push, and I had no intentions of like going 3 wide or anything like that, but he did. So this happens. This is the same thing that has happened on a lot of these restarts where you see cars all shooting for the same middle gap, and then they hit each other. They bounce off, and it causes a wreck. Everyone's just trying to get all they can on these restarts, and you're positioning, like if you find a hole that you can fit in, or maybe it's not even a hole, but you think you can wedge it in there and create a hole, it's what happened. Ty went up. I think there was a gap there. I kind of need to see it again. But I felt like I saw multiple cars all shooting for the same middle, and they hit each other, and of course they all wrecked.
Yeah, he got squirrely, and at one point looked like he was going to turn left, and then he went right.
This was the 54, I think, was trying to get around the 6 because he knew he was on 2 tires, and he's like, ooh, if I go middle here, I dispose of the 6, and now he's in a really good position if the crash doesn't happen. And then simultaneously, the 20 is coming down trying to hit that same middle gap, and it's just they collide. And it's just, I don't know that it's really anyone's fault. It's just cars collide. And, I think that they were trying to hit a gap that just wasn't quite big enough. That's what I see. But I can tell you one thing. It worked out well for me because I'm at, 2, 4, 6.
You were 10th to start that.
2, 4, 6, 8. I'm 9th.
Oh, 'cause you're inside.
On the inside, yep. And there's 3 cars that are about to go bye-bye. And when the caution falls, I'm now 6th. That puts me in a great spot on the outside behind Larson on fresh tires. Old tires on the bottom. And y'all saw what happened at the end.
Anything else you want to touch on from this race?
I mean, not really. I think it's going to be a compelling few weeks.
It's going to be fun 2 weeks for you.
To see how it all plays out. Yep. I'll be watching as a race fan inside that race car to I'll be rubbernecking every caution, kind of seeing where everyone's at, checking the lives, points updates since we're not allowed to get told, apparently, allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, I don't know. This is such a great weekend. Now my Monday today has not been great because I haven't slept.
I can't believe it.
And
I had FOMO.
And I needed lots and lots of water. I'm too old for that, I can tell you, but we turned back the clock.
Charlie asked you last night when we got back to the hotel first, like what kind of
night do you want to have?
And you said somewhere in the middle.
That's right.
Of the two options.
He says, well, you do nothing, or you do like a club, or you do like a lounge. And I'm like, I like something in the middle. Hit me with something in the middle, and then let's just see how it goes. Well, we rolled into the club about 12 o'clock at night, and we didn't leave till the lights turned on.
Any Buffalo Stampede?
No Buffalo, right?
There was a Buffalo.
They didn't run.
No. This machine sucked. Even when I made it to the bonus round, it would pay me like half of what my actual bet was. It's like, yeah, you hit the bonus round. Sweet. Like you should win at least back your money that you spent on the roll. It was such a sham.
Well, those weren't the Buffalo you got to run the Buffalo at Resorts World.
We have to go
They
back.
feed them different.
Yeah.
They feed them
The grass fed.
Those buffaloes were better. And this was only one single machine. There weren't multiple linked together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's how it works. That like on a progressive, are all the money that goes in one, does it just go in a pot of all 4 of those machines? Like, are all 4 of those machines feeding into one progressive pot?
And AP
that any one of the machines can hit it.
AP wasn't there to prime him also.
That took the words out of my mouth.
Let me tell you. I ran out of time right before practice. I'm in there and I'm playing slots and I'm playing this other, freaking Dragon Link. I can't believe I'm playing slots. I'm getting so old. This is ridiculous. So I'm in there and I get, I see that the jackpot's 2.2 million or something like the progressive jackpot is. And I'm like, ooh, slots is easy. It just pays you money whenever you put it, put money in, it just shells out a new car. And I spent a significant amount of money in there, and I got nothing essentially in return. And I'm sitting there, and my buddy's right beside me, and he's there just for the weekend to hang out. And I'm like, play this game. I'm sure it's going to hit. As soon as I get off this machine, it's going to hit. Bam. He put in $25 and hit for 10,000. Well, I primed it for him. I AP'd it.
You AP'd it.
Yeah. And then how about this? The second night, when I did play the Buffalo, I had a guy sitting beside me. He looked like a regular. He was just watching me just feed this thing. And when I got up, he says, "Are you done?" I said, "I'm done." I said, you want to come over here, don't you? He's like, I just want to make sure you're done. I says, "Sir, it's ready for you." And I'm sure he hit. I'm sure, because I spent way too much money in that thing to not get anything in return. That thing is just, that meme of that guy that's chipping away, looking for the diamonds, and then he turns around and it's right there. That's what I feel like every pull of the freaking machine.
That's the point.
I know. I'm one chip away from busting out the coins.
That's what they want you to think every time.
It's a sham. I did good in the table games, but I stunk it up, lost it all in the slots.
So I feel like you owe the casinos there a little bit of money.
I did. I'm still well up in the casinos itself, but not this trip.
Well, I can't believe we got through this podcast. I'm surprised.
I'm ready to go to bed. Can I go to bed now?
Also, thank you. Next 2 Sundays, no tweeting. We don't have to
You're not. Yeah, you've got the NASCAR races off.
kick the feet up.
You're not going to tweet at all?
There's no need. We're on to Phoenix, Jared.
Well, what about Martinsville? You still want to win that race?
I want to win, but
That's going to suck for us. We're not going to be able to go back and see all of his crazy
I can
tweets.
text you guys.
Will you be in Phoenix?
We'll see. I want to be.
Yeah. I'm working on getting... Now, this is the best part about it. Now I can work on all the logistics. I've already got the one house for the group of us, but then now I'm going to get a secondary house, or I think you got to have, one family house and then one friend's house.
Bring the cameras out, so if
just in case.
when we win.
What's that?
Hey, over here. If you're gonna talk on the mic.
Taylor's in here. She just
We
came
should
in.
do gel blasters again.
We tried to wrap this thing up minutes ago. I'm so tired. Taylor, I'm going to go to bed now.
I got Dubai chocolate for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, see you in a minute. All right, on to Talladega. I'm gonna physically be there this weekend. Mentally,
Phoenix.
I'm gonna do the best I can, but I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. It's gonna be fun though, because I can race free, right? Like, not worried about wrecking, or you just kind of do whatever you want.
Let's go get 61.
Right? It's another chance to win. Excited for it. Let's see it. I got a couple weeks. Let's go to work. Let's get this championship, Trav. Jared. Ready?
Ready.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.